No agenda, no bull crap, just real conversations. Thank you for joining us for the Middle of the Street podcast.
Tell me something, Pops. How do you feel?
I feel great. Was in Florida.
Yeah?
Got some fishing in. Got to get
I saw that big
my
fish.
first dinosaur, my first gator ever. That was pretty cool.
What did it taste like?
It was really good. We had the backstrap, so it kind of chickenish, but really, really good. Really rich.
Chickenish.
Yeah.
I miss chicken. I ain't gonna lie. I really do. There's one thing I'd eat chicken.
I couldn't be you. I mean, I like beef and chicken and alligator and fish.
I miss steak too. He said an alligator.
and pheasant and all the
What
things
did you
I hunt,
season
man.
it? Okay, what did you season it with?
The chef did it.
Just
Yeah, we went to a club and the chef cooked
Really?
it for us, yeah.
Well, you went to a club and they cooked the gator that you caught.
Yeah, my buddy's, part of a club.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that an exclusive club?
Yeah, it's craziness. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. But great time in Florida. Weather was awesome. Got to hang out with some guys that I only get to see about once a year.
Yeah.
We started doing some stuff together back in 2001. And 23 years later, we're still doing some stuff. We were kind of in the industry, in the industrial gas industry, just kind of cool fun. Just a hoot. These guys are a blast, man.
That's fun. Gator hunting. Now, hold on really quick. How dangerous is gator hunting?
It's not, man. It's not like you're gator wrestling. It's. I'll be honest with you, it's more like gator road hunting. We drove around, you'd see them in the water, and you'd get out of the pickup, and you'd either shoot them or they'd hook them first, and then they'd shoot them. I shot mine without being hooked first.
Hook them with?
Like big treble hooks on a fishing pole. I mean, big treble hooks. And then they kind of can keep them up. Because then if you don't get a good shot, I mean, if you shoot them good, like I shot mine really good right in the back of the head, and he rolls over, legs up, instantly, dead, done. But if you don't hit him well, they'll go under. Ooh. And they can stay under for like 45 minutes.
Ooh.
And then they come back up. And then you got to shoot them again. But, it's...
Wow.
It's like I can't think of the gator hunting. Shoot them, Tommy, shoot them.
just really in it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So, they have so many gators that they encourage you to hunt gators, right?
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I remember when I was in New Orleans, they said something. We were on a gator tour. I think they said there was, I forgot. There was more gators than people. It was wild.
Oh yeah.
It was wild. Well, I don't know about that, but it was just a lot of gators. It was a lot of gators.
Pretty crazy.
It
was a crazy week. So we fly out Wednesday morning.
Okay.
The election's not done yet. Nothing's settled completely.
Okay.
When we left, because we were on a 6 a.m. flight.
I mean, I stayed up to, I was at Planet Fitness at 2 a.m. watching the election.
Yeah.
It was over. At 2 a.m. It was over.
Yeah, they hadn't called a couple of them yet, but I'm looking at the map now.
Fox News knew it was over.
Yeah. Well, actually,
they're always first.
I heard this thing today that Elon Musk had developed some app.
Yeah.
And 4 hours before they'd called it, he's like, "Yeah, it's over, and this is going to be the vote count, plus or minus a million votes."
I bet he was right.
And then he left. He's like, "I don't need to see it anymore."
He's like, "I'm good."
Yeah.
Now here's the thing: when I was watching it, like I said, because I'm at Planet Fitness, right? And so you see, you have all the screens up. So you see MSNBC, CBS, NBC, Fox. Fox called everything first correctly. Yeah. Just saying. I don't just regularly watch Fox News. I don't regularly watch any of the news stations. But what I'm saying is they called everything they called was quicker, more precise. Now, here's the other thing, too. It was funny. I knew who was going to win the election. I think we got to the gym maybe at 12 or something, right? Yeah. I knew that the red folks were going to win because on MSNBC, CBS, NBC, if you just look at the commentators, they were all looking so just upset and solemn and just, knew that they knew. You knew they knew
the handwriting was
that
on
it
the
was
wall.
over. And their producers were in the ear like, it's over. You got to hold this together. You look over at the Fox, everybody's just having a good time, laughing. They're just hanging out, high-fiving.
So 81 million, 74 million, what is that? That's 155 million total votes in 2020.
Okay.
And we're at 147 million. So was voter turnout that bad? Or is there really some shit going on in 2020? I don't know.
Well, I tell you what, 72 million votes right now. 72.5 almost for Kamala. 72.5.
81 million. One was Joe in 20.
81. So you're telling me 9 million more people voted for Joe Biden than voted for Kamala Harris this time?
Yeah. And to me, the crazy part is, I don't know if you looked at like the California map itself, it turned a lot of red. New Jersey turned a lot of red.
Yeah.
New York turned a lot of red.
Yeah.
I mean,
look, a lot of people I think are going to try to blame a lot of things. And I already hear people saying so many different things. But I think the biggest factor is you can't run a candidate that doesn't go through the primary, that doesn't have the prerequisites. What I mean by that is the normal way that a person wins the primary. Now, someone could argue and say, well, what's his name? Trump didn't even debate his primary. He still ran a primary. Like, he still was voted for.
He was on the ballot.
He still was beating everybody else, even without, he was just doing rallies instead of debates. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But, you know, when I did not expect that Trump would flip everybody. I didn't think he would flip Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin and Arizona this time, you know, and Nevada. I mean, he flipped a lot of states. Georgia. He flipped a ton of states.
I think one of the biggest things is, seriously, and for people that really are mad or they're sad or upset or scared, I guess all I have to say is, first thing, it already happened for 4 years and it wasn't the end of the world. Now, so I guess that's why I'm not as concerned, right? I don't think it's the end of the world. That being said, the people that are really upset of how the election went, I think you really just have to look at literally how you're running an election and what you're running on. I don't think that people in the broad scale of things, the broad base, I don't think that most Americans want boys playing girls sports. They don't want kids being mutilated. They don't want to tell young ones that they're in their wrong bodies or that something's wrong with them of how they're born.
Well, I mean, I look at the campaign as they had Harris running on a whole bunch of these small issues that affected small groups of people.
Yeah.
But those weren't majority things that people were thinking.
Exactly.
All the things you just listed off.
Exactly.
The majority of those folks were not thinking about those things were good.
And not only that, but not even think that those things are normal.
Yeah.
Normal. And I really think that at the core of this, Kamala's campaign was trying to change what was normal. And I'm not saying that's always bad, right? Because that's not always bad, because sometimes normal is stupid. Like, sometimes normal is separate but equal, or normal is women can't go to school or things like that, right?
Yeah.
But when you try to make the very strange in society, what we would call like the freakish type things, when you try to make that the norm,
Yeah.
that's where I think she lost so many voters. If that's that 9 million, you know, if the numbers are legitimate, right, and she lost 9 million, then that's where I think most of that 9 million went.
Yeah.
Was they left with the weirdness saying that a boy can be in a girl's locker room. I think that's when a lot of people said, okay, I can't do that anymore. So I'm either not going to vote for her, or I'm going to really look at what the Trump side has.
And I think a lot of people, you know, one of the big things was women's rights, you know, the abortion thing. That was pushed really hard.
Yeah.
But if you noticed, a lot of states shifted way closer to the middle, even though they had, you know, their legislative bodies had passed things that were more restrictive.
Yeah.
That the citizens of the state voted and said, no, we're going to go here more in the middle.
Yep.
And you
Or
saw
even
that.
more to the left.
Yeah.
With it.
Some of them went more left. There's no
did.
doubt. Yeah.
But that's, I think, one of the key things is that I think a lot of women understood that if they were voting on the abortion issue, they understood that it was at a state level, not at a national level. They understood that, hey, that's out to the states now. It's not up to the president.
And I think that same thing happened on both sides. They were like, that's not a presidential issue. Supreme Court's spoken. That's not changing. That law's not going to get to her desk because the Supreme Court's going to say, even if it does, they're going to say, no, we're not doing a national. This is states' rights. It's not in the Constitution.
States to states.
And
whatever is in the Constitution goes to the states.
Yeah,
Simple.
That's how
It's pretty simple.
pretty supposed to happen like that for a long time. And
Pretty simple. It's pretty
clouded
simple.
things.
It's pretty simple. Now, one thing that, and I just want to talk about this because, I get a lot of text messages I got a wonderful text group from a couple text groups. One of the text groups I have is with Lawrence and John. Lawrence, or I think someone put in the text message a really good message about a concern about the Department of Education, right? Saying that if this Department of Education goes, then along with it go a lot of grants that support kids going to HBCUs or HBCU schools and things like that. And so I got to thinking, and then one of the comments I think in that was it was the feds that protected Ruby Bridges when she was going to that school. And the state wouldn't let her go, or the mob of the people wouldn't let her go, and so the feds came in and stepped it. But then I started thinking about that again, and I said, well, the Department of Education was made in, was that 1981 or 1979?
79, I think.
79.
And I think it really got its traction in 81.
Okay, so 79 it's created. 1960 is the year Ruby Bridges was going to that school as the first black girl in one of those little schools in the South. Then I was thinking to myself, well, the same federal government that they were excited or that he was saying was, protecting Ruby Bridges was the same federal government that was making the case against Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and against against Malcolm X and others, and Fred Hampton and others. And
JFK.
And JFK, RFK.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't.
So what I'm saying is, there's no perfectness in it, right? And then he was like, yes, you have a huge point there, or something like that, right? Where he's the validation of, it's hard to win out here. It's hard to win with the federal government. It's really hard to win with the federal government. But it's a real love-hate relationship, because if you don't have the federal government, you don't have a strong federal government, then you have the type of shit you have like in Mexico and in El Salvador. You have real cartels running shit.
Yeah. So I think the federal Department of Education needs to be shrank and needs to put the authorities and allocate money to states, not make curriculum mandates, not make mandates, because
vaccine mandates.
Yeah, I mean all of it, man, because it's craziness when you look at my generation.
Sure.
If you didn't go to 4-year college, man, you weren't going to make it. Well, trust me, brother. 4-year college wasn't everything. I never went,
and he made it.
But yeah, I did fine in life.
More than fine.
But when you look at some of these kids, I mean, like the thing there at Southeast Community College,
the Career Academy.
Career Academy.
Yeah.
Those kids are going there and finding out really what they have a passion for, really what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is going to a community college, getting a great degree, coming out and making some real money without real debt.
A real trade.
That's
not easily AI replaceable.
No. Now, you can't replace a plumber.
It's hard to get a robot for a plumber.
Yeah. Electrician.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mechanic. It's hard to do
some
of those specialized fields that we've looked down on for a long time, of those blue collar jobs.
Yeah.
Well, bullshit, man.
It's just real jobs.
Yeah, it's just real jobs doing.
Well,
real
how does society function without those jobs, without those people that do those jobs? Like, what happens to the fabric of society?
We're there now. I mean, we don't have them. We're struggling to replace them, and then we have kids with 4 years degrees in philosophy or political science or something that are asking if you want fries with this, and that's no good either.
Yeah.
So I think the Department of Education, if they would funnel more of those funds to the states to handle, and put those decisions closer to, and I'm going to call them opportunities, not problems.
Sure.
Closer to those opportunities for those kids to really figure out what they want to do in life. It's okay. I mean, I think that's important. I think our federal education. Well, think about it. Since it was put in place, our test scores went down. It's kind of like, we've went to this. I even hate to say the word, but the woke and all the stuff in the military by changing the standards so that more people can qualify for it. Well, I don't know that I want the standards changed for physical qualifications for military, for police, for firefighters, because when you make those compromises, then it's harder. I mean, you think about it. So if you change a fireman would be a perfect example.
Yeah.
So if you change a fireman, and I don't know these by any means, so I'm just talking off the top. A fireman has to be able to bench press 150 pounds 10 times.
Yeah.
Well, if a fireman's having to carry somebody out of a burning building, and you lower that standard down to 75 pounds, he's physically not going to have the strength to save that person.
100%. 100%.
So, I mean, and I'm all for, and this isn't, to me, that's not a gender thing, because there's some chicks out there that can flat do it, and
they can, and
I'm 110% support them doing that.
They can. I see some chicks at the gym that just can outlift me. Yeah,
and I see some women in our military too, that I don't really like them on the front lines unless they're meeting the same standards as their male counterparts.
Yeah.
Only because people can die.
And I've also seen some chicks I don't want to fight.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I've seen some chicks that kick the shit out of me. And at the same time, they're super sweet.
Sure, can be.
Yeah, they can be super sweet.
The ones I'm talking about that I want to fight, they ain't so sweet.
Well, what'd you do to them, Fish? What'd you do, man?
I tell you what. But seriously, I know exactly what you're saying. And it's just about the opportunity. It's about opening up the opportunity, not lowering the standards.
Correct.
Right? And that's really what it's about. Now, people are really afraid about opportunity.
Gender neutrality.
Well, when it comes here, let's talk about gender for a second, right? Now, a lot of people, first thing, I'm going to talk about the race thing later. Yep. A lot of people just call Trump flat out racist. Then a lot of people call Trump flat out sexist. Like, for sure, be like, he's sexist, right? Has anyone else made a chief of staff a woman?
Nope. First time ever.
Okay. So dude just did that, right?
Yep.
He just did that. Okay. Did Trump, when it came to what's the Homeland Security thing?
Yeah.
Homeland Security, right? Director of Homeland Security? He just appointed Christie, right?
Christie Noem.
That's South Dakota's girl. I know a lot of people that aren't too fond of her because I know a lot of the native folks I work with don't really like her. Now, that being said, it's hard probably to be in any native nation and like the governor of this, like, they're like the occupying governor. So it's like, they're not going to probably like you. That being said, she's a woman and he gave her that position or appointed her that, whatever. Right?
Yeah, hopefully she'll get through Senate confirmations.
Now, what I'm saying is,
Mark Cuban was crazy for saying that he surrounds himself with dumb women. I mean, what a dummy.
So it just really just bothers me when people just throw out things. Like, you throw out a term, you throw out a name, you throw out something just to do it, right? It's just a buzzword. And it's dangerous because it takes the seriousness, the validity away from those words, right? When you just throw out and say, oh, he's just sexist.
You water him down. I mean, when Donald Trump's 78 years old, when he was growing up in his 20s, the world was different 50 years ago.
Sure.
Did he probably do things that in today's society he'd say, yeah, there's no way in hell I'd do that? Probably. Yeah. But I don't blame somebody always for the history.
But I don't even say but. Here's what I say, right? My thing is this. I don't say but. I'm saying that I don't like the morality trip when the other person that you want me to pick is just as, I guess, lacking in morals. Like when the other person that you want me to pick keeps people in jail longer than their sentence so she can have firefighters, or the locks up parents for their kids being truant or can't get into school or whatever it be. So I'm just not with that, right? I'm not with the morality thing unless you're talking about the person you're about to pick is, I don't know, like literally is walking that walk. But I guess who hasn't done something wrong?
There's
like it's just really tough. Like who hasn't done something wrong? Now I'm not talking about something like
our Lord and Savior. That's the only guy I can think of, man.
Right. But I'm not saying like rape somebody. Like there's a lot of people who haven't raped somebody, right? There's a lot of people that haven't. I don't know. But what I'm saying is like when you're talking about, someone not treating someone how they think they should have, or like everybody's done something.
Yeah, and everybody. I shouldn't say everybody because some people's moral compass is way off, but most good people look back on it and go, wow, was I stupid?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, boy, did I make a stupid choice.
Definitely. Definitely.
It's probably why we don't get as many people in politics, because they don't want all that coming out and dealing with it. But, it's kind of just one of those things.
I sure wouldn't want to, I tell you what. But I'm going to tell you another reason why I think so many people are so worried. Or what I mean by why this narrative has been pushed that if Trump's there, it's going to be over. You'll never vote again. He's going to try to be the king and all this. Is because he's already doubling down, saying that fluoride's coming out the water, saying that these artificial chemicals are coming out of the foods. No more red dye number 40s and blue yellow lake 5s and all this crap.
Our Fruit Loops are going to look like they do in Europe.
That's a big deal. And maybe they can even get some of these pharmaceutical ads off the TV. Now, that is a very, very big threat to a lot of people with invested interests.
Well, you look at it, Kamala, her presidential, she outraced Trump 2-1.
Yeah.
Spent excess of $1 billion and was, 20 million short?
Oh, yeah, she's in debt.
Trump I think that was kind of a zinger when he kind of said, I could help you out with that, but because I got plenty of money left.
Oh, my goodness. But seriously, they were talking about how this man can't handle nothing. He's bankrupt. He can't handle the economy and all this. You're cool with her throwing $1 billion in this thing and then being 20 million short, ain't paying people, paying celebrities a whole bunch of money. Now, look, I'm sure Trump paid Kid Rock and them other folks too.
I don't think he did.
I'd have a hard time believing people weren't getting paid to show up.
No, I don't.
Maybe they weren't though.
I don't think he may have paid their expenses to get there, but I don't even know that he did that.
But I'm not for sure. But Kid Rock is those people that are performers. I wonder. But if they didn't, somebody comment. Tell me if those people was paid. But we've seen the receipts.
Well, based on what
for
he
the
spent,
Democrats, we've seen the
based
receipts.
on what he spent. I don't think he could have paid him. He couldn't have paid him much.
So, somebody would have came out with it, I'm sure, if he would have paid him because of all the flack that the Democrats are getting for paying their folks.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Which is crazy. It's trying to buy vote and buy love, man. It's not for sale.
I think they paid Megan Thee Stallion like $2 million.
Yeah. Oprah $1 million, and she has billions.
I wish they would have paid me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I could have done it. I don't know that I could have completely changed my thought processes for $1 million.
I don't think you have to change your thought process. I just think you have to go and perform. And I perform a lot. I could have went out there and
I can't sing and dance for shit.
I did something. You guys ready for Harris and Waltz, right?
Yeah.
Harris Waltz. That's weird.
So man, the Senate. I mean, I didn't know that we could get the majority in the Senate.
That was weird how everything switched. Even the House, everything.
The House was already there, but it's crazy. So we're 53-47 at this point. I think there's one undecided still.
Yeah.
And maybe they got it decided, and I'm unaware of it. You look at the House. The Republicans are one short right now at 217. But the crazy part about it is, Trump's tapping some people in the House and the Senate for some of his cabinet positions. So there's going to be a bunch of special elections. But this could come back to bite him. But if he gets his people in place, he can still move his agenda forward as long as it makes sense for the country, I think.
Sure.
And there's some states in here, a bunch of electoral votes, college votes went, New Mexico. Well, New Mexico was all Albuquerque. I've been to New Mexico. The people south of Albuquerque, you don't have to go very far south, and they're really, really, really conservative.
Sure.
So it was just kind of an interesting election. Just crazy. I mean, I did not. When I went to bed that night, there was no way I saw a red wave, but it was.
It felt the exact same in 2016. Is what I'm saying. Like it really did. Where there was a lot of people that were very quiet. What I'm saying is, all you heard about was Kamala, and all the people that you heard online and everywhere on TV. Everybody was just saying Kamala. It was very quiet. It's the same with everybody was saying Hillary. Everybody was just pumping up Hillary, and quietly, all those people were going to vote for Trump, and they did it again.
I need to apologize to everybody because I just yawned. So I've been spending the last couple of days. A really good friend of mine who had kidney transplant, and I'm his caretaker. So I've been like up really early at the hospital and getting him there, and his kidney transplant and everything's going great. But I yawned. I apologize. I'm a little bit low on sleep, man. But I wanted everybody to know that.
But that's a crazy story because his wife gave him a kidney, but then the kidney didn't work for him exactly.
Yeah, so it's another donor, so she's in a pool, and yeah, it's really...
So she gave her kidney to someone else to then give a kidney to him.
Yeah.
It was like a 3-way trade.
4-way.
4-way. It was like a 4-way trade. It's bigger than the NBA.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And he's... Thank God, folks, he's doing amazing, too. So she was in recovery, not in a room yet, but she was doing really well. She just had some pain when I left the hospital tonight, so...
That's wild.
God blessed.
That is wild.
And my wife and I are blessed to be able to be their caretakers and to his caretaker and take care of him, and it's
helping him out.
It's just a blessing. So I just want to apologize for my yawning because
that's a nice thing. You're over here saving, helping to save brothers' lives.
Well, I've always felt that the good Lord gives us an opportunity once in a while to help somebody in need, and I got this opportunity, and we're just not going to let it go, man. We're going to stay on it.
100%.
It's you reap what you sow, so it's pretty cool.
Definitely.
So that's why I yawned, folks. I apologize, but yeah. So the House, it looks like it's going to go GOP. It'll be interesting if there's things really screwed up with all these nominations going on. Probably the wildest one I heard driving over here was Matt Gaetz.
That's what you just said, Matt Gaetz. Real conservative, huh?
You looked at him, man. He's very, very, very conservative. I don't know if he can get confirmed even by the Republicans because he's under some health ethics.
Why do you think that he picked him?
Because I think he wanted a hard charger that's going to clean it up.
What, like clean up like the way that things, like the voting things?
No, the whole AG process and how it's been weaponized not only against Trump but other people.
Just basically who you're going to prosecute and go after?
Yeah, who you're going to prosecute and go after, why, how long they're in jail. I do expect, and I'm going to throw this out there, I do expect Biden to pardon Trump before he leaves, and I expect Trump to do the same for Hunter Biden. I expect that to happen.
Wow.
It may not, but I expect that because... I think both of them really want to lay down.
Just do a gentleman pardon?
Well, I think they want to lay down the swords.
Wow.
And try to bring the country together somewhat.
Okay, here's my thing. And correct me if I'm wrong. The shit that Trump did, most people do, and nothing ever.
In the real estate thing, yeah, of evaluations.
I'm just saying, most people that's never even a crime that's like, I could do that shit easily, and I'm not even trying to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really a crime.
Yeah. I mean, and this was he was charged with the crime that there was no victim.
Now, when it comes to Hunter Biden shit, if I did what Hunter Biden did, try to get a gun and didn't tell them that I was a felon, I would go to jail.
Yeah, well, it wasn't the felony. It was he was a drug addict. addicted to drugs.
I thought he already had a felony.
I don't think he had the felony. This is a
Lion
felony for
gave
him
him the
to-
felony.
Yeah.
So
But could be treated as a misdemeanor. But
So
his
because he's a-
felony was afterwards, and that was the tax evasion.
he had felony tax evasion.
Yeah.
But he didn't go to jail for that either.
Not yet.
Okay. So if I did tax evasion on that scale, would I go to jail?
Yeah. I mean, that's what, who was the mobster they put in prison for tax evasion because they couldn't get him on anything else?
I thought they got him for phone card. You're talking about Al Capone?
Yeah, Capone, man. He got,
Yeah.
his was
It was tax evasion?
tax evasion.
So was it tied to phone cards? Was it tied to like long distance phone cards or something?
It was, some of it was tied to phone cards, some of it was tied to just the money flowing in and never claiming it.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So the phone card thing, he was actually claiming some of that, but it was illegal what he was doing. The whole phone card thing was illegal. You know, if you claim a deduction, you typically don't go to prison for that. You may pay a little fine and you have to pay the money. When you do not report income,
Yeah.
you go to prison for that.
So is Hunter Biden not reporting income?
Yes. He
Okay.
did not report income
Now,
from foreign countries.
okay, so so if I was to go and if I made $1 million in Ukraine and I didn't report that to the USA, they would try to put me in jail.
Oh, yeah.
So what I'm saying is, forget that then. Put him in jail.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to drop the torches and try to unite the country because there's been so much political.
Yeah. And I want to say united the country around just not putting his son in jail for breaking the law. That's crap.
Well, but if that's what it takes to get them to
That's
unite,
crap.
it's to not prosecute one person to get things united in 2024. I'd be all for that if the country will actually come together.
Yeah, I don't
I don't know if that's possible.
ultra for real, like two ultra elite guys playing a really funny game,
Because they got a lot of money.
and we're like pieces in it in a small way.
Oh,
That's wild.
well, that was kind of an interesting thing, even during the presidential election. You know, as Trump was winning that night, somebody made the comment of, "Well, you know, the problem was the Democrats were playing checkers, and Trump was playing chess.
Yeah, again,
Way different strategies."
no, 100%, 100%, and they just, I mean, they really won. Like they really won.
The stuff that happened in the East, you know, in New Jersey, New York, him picking up all those votes. He didn't win those states, but he picked up all those votes. PA, that was when they had him locked down in New York in trial for what? 8 weeks, 10 weeks?
You're right.
And he was doing rallies.
You're right.
Right there, going to the Bronx, going places.
What's the can we just see just California what the breakdown was California vote wise?
I don't think I have that.
Because he didn't lose by very many.
No, but you can see how much red there was versus if you look back at the 2020 map. It's crazy the difference. You can pull that up.
California. I just want to see California votes president. Florida, California. California's only 84% reported? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Jeez. So right now, California is behind. He's behind a little under 3 million in California right now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I'm saying is, if you do take away the Electoral College, it doesn't matter anymore. It still doesn't. He still won the popular vote again.
Yeah, but when you look across
killed
the
it.
country, yeah, he won the popular vote this time. But
what I'm saying is, you still have to campaign every state because there's so much at stake at every state. If you go there and you're killing counties by 100,000, you do 10 of those, that's 1 million votes. Like you're catching ground everywhere.
And that's what Trump did. I mean,
That's what he did.
Everywhere.
He caught ground everywhere.
And where he wasn't campaigning, JD was.
And JD actually makes sense sometimes. Well, I don't know, from the Joe Rogan interview.
Yeah.
That man made a lot of sense. But what I'm saying is, I think, for example, let's say that Trump doesn't lower Social Security benefits, right? Let's say that he does the smart thing. I'm not sure if he will, of course, But I think the common sense, smart thing, shut down 2 or 3 freaking stupid bases around the world and shift some of that stupid military budget to Social Security and keep paying our seniors that paid for it. Now, that being said, don't have a Social Security crunch. I know it runs out in 30 or 2030 or 2033, whatever. Okay, shift that military budget. Like, just stop playing. That being said, then if you don't mess with Social Security and you really do secure the border, what I mean by that is you're saving lives on both sides. First thing, America knows who's coming in. Second thing, you don't have just 15-year-olds like at the age of my son trying to freaking get across the border, getting killed by cartel, getting lost, or girls getting sex trafficked and stuff. It's just freaking nuts. It is redonkulous nuts. Me and my wife we just watched a documentary on these migrants try to come over, and it did 5 or 6 different stories. It was just heartbreaking.
Oh,
it was heartbreaking, and you feel for these people because they want to just come to the best country in the world, and they're trying to escape shit. And there is a way to do it by knocking on the door and doing it, through a system so we know who's coming in and things. And then you don't have to worry about getting killed by cartel and walking through the night in the desert for 3 days and hopefully to not die in the desert.
So one of the nursing students today that we had, cool guy, came from Philippines, 18 years old. Mm-hmm. His father was Philippine. His mother was Canadian. Mm-hmm. His dad was in the U.S., became a citizen, and his dad spoke way, way, way highly about the United States. Far more than his mother spoke about Canada. He said, that's why my sister and I both came to the U.S. Comes to the U.S., he said, didn't really know what I wanted to do, kind of wandered around for a couple years, got in some trouble, finally decided I'm joining the Air Force. Joins the Air Force. Through that, and I didn't realize this, but through that, he becomes a naturalized citizen for serving his time. So he's a medic in the Air Force and now going to become a registered nurse. Pretty cool.
So there's
kind of did it the right way.
So there's ways. And what I'm saying is, again, I understand, guys. Those people have ancestral ties to this place. I get it. That being said, it's just really tough because they are literally like these kids, these people are risking their lives trying to get here. And it's so sad. Anyways, if he can secure the border the right way and then does the thing, what I mean by economy is, I know everybody keeps saying the tariffs. Well, the tariffs just go to us and we just have to pay for it. The customer's going to pay for it. Well, then my thought is we just stop buying all this crap from China and from other countries, and we can bring some type of manufacturing back here, pay people living wages. And okay, so if we do pay $1 more for the product, but it means that we have better wages or better jobs and better opportunities for Americans here, what the heck is the problem with that?
So you think about it. Let's say that we pay $1 more for it because their costs went up $1. So let's back up to the tariffs. So Trump's whole piece on the tariffs are, I'm going to put enough tariffs on them so they're not competitive in the United States. So they have to manufacture that same thing in the United States. Is that going to cost more? Yeah. But you look at the tax revenue that's gained. Yeah. You look at the Social Security that's gained. Yeah. You look at the infrastructure that will be developed and done by those companies doing that. Yeah. He's playing a long game.
Yes.
That's a 10-year probably process.
It's about making America more self-sustainable rather than just being totally dependent on these imports. Yep. And then again, when shit happens in the world and there's a COVID or there's a that they orchestrate and the shipping isn't coming in right, then you're out of toilet paper or you're out of all these little stupid luxuries that you know of. I'm not calling them stupid, but you know what I mean? Like a bunch of luxuries that you know of. Instead of that, it won't be like that when it's all manufactured in America.
Correct.
Like you don't have to worry about a big port problem for the most part when it's from America.
Yeah, I mean, and we're still going to end up with trade things with folks. Just because they have the raw material, we don't. We're still going to have that. Sure. But you're not going to tariff those things because you're going to balance it out with other things that we're then sending to them. We've been so out of balance on trade, and we'll probably continue to be out of balance on trade just from a population perspective, the United States, people-wise. Mm-hmm. But, I think there's great opportunity, and there's going to be some pain with it, absolutely. But I don't think it's going to cause this major recession, depression that's being talked about on the media. I don't see that happening.
Well, so I personally am just not as concerned as so many people are. I don't understand what the big concern is. And even when it comes to like these ultra, they're saying, oh, even when you say like the Matt Gaetz thing, right? I guess I just can't be so concerned with it because I feel like these things just all, I don't want to say just work themselves out, but they just even out because of our checks and balances we have that's set up in the country now in our modern times.
And I love checks and balances. We just don't need to politicize every check. You can't be against something just because somebody else is for it.
Sure.
We should be past that.
Sure. And what I mean too is like, for example, when you say people are afraid of the president wanting to do a national ban on abortion. The Supreme Court won't let that happen.
It can't.
So what I mean is those type of checks and balances that are in place, I think really prevent our nation from going totally off the deep end one way or the other.
Well, hopefully it keeps our republic intact. I mean, that's kind of my hope. I mean, I've got young grandchildren. Nothing that Trump does is going to drastically probably affect my life. But what he does could drastically affect my grandchildren's lives.
Sure.
My kids even. My children aren't that old.
Yeah.
But, I've got 15, 20 years left probably.
You have more than that, Pops,
well, maybe.
man.
But
you're
you
selling
don't
yourself
know.
short. But seriously, it's like I really do think though that seriously, if the Democrats, if Kamala Harris and them were to have gotten to power again, or into power, stayed in power, I think the way that it was trending was we were going to give up a lot more of our land, our resources, and in some ways our sovereignty to China.
Oh yeah.
And to more of the globalization kind of trend that was happening. Right.
Yep.
So I'm just so excited that that it seems like we're not going to be beholden to Ukraine. What I'm not excited about, of course, is I think that, did Hamas just say like, hey, we want to call an end to this, or was that fake news?
No, they're wanting to, I mean, Trump's in power, so he's going to be
hard line.
It's all of them. They're like, hey, we got to quit screwing around here because he's not going to let us screw around.
So now we're done.
And dump money. It's kind of like Europe saying, all right, so Trump's going to push this thing and he's going to quit paying. So are we willing to pay for this ourselves? Are we willing to step up and spend hundreds of billions of dollars to continue this war there without the United States? On the election, too, the other thing that was kind of interesting, and I checked some of this. I did not check all of these states, but many of the states that Kamala Harris won had no voter ID requirements. We had voter ID, right? And you went there, you had to show your ID.
Yeah. They were strict about it.
And I didn't feel uncomfortable about it.
I mean, I don't know. Here's my thing again. A lot of people feel a lot of different ways about voter ID. As long as it's free to get the ID.
Absolutely.
Then I'm fine with it. If it's free to get the ID, I'm fine with it. 100%.
I think it should be free.
Because there's... How many million people voted? 71 versus...
150 million.
150 million people voted. There's so easily... You can easily say you're somebody else. And you can easily claim to be this person and just show up. And you can easily get registered on that thing as well. Yeah, like there's little tricks and little bullshit they can play.
Because there's big states that didn't have to have it.
Have a lot. So my thing is...
I think you should be able to get
if it's free
state issued ID for nothing. If you're getting a driver's license, which lots of people that becomes their ID, you should have to pay for that privilege because of the testing and all of those things that has to happen.
But here's the thing, though. Here's why I don't like that. Because really, if you're not commercially driving, I don't like the whole idea of registration and driver's license and all that. Anyway, even though I think it's a big safety issue.
Well, it's a huge safety
It's
issue.
a safety issue for sure. I understand. It's a safety issue. It makes sense with a safety issue. When it comes to control issue, it is kind of, I don't know, restrictive.
Well, and it's
Like, I can't, you know.
It's also revenue. I mean, it's what pays for our roads. I mean, that's between that and gas tax. That's what pays for most of our roads.
Yeah. And I just always go back to, man, we could pay for all the roads in the world if we just stop a few missiles. All the roads, one nuclear warhead, pay for a lot of roads, Pops.
Yeah, we're just not producing a lot of nuclear warheads. But if we got out of some of these wars in general,
I mean, we still have thousands in our arsenal.
yeah,
And we're making new ones.
We're making all kinds of Tomahawk missiles and that stuff, ballistic missiles. Those are and they're expensive.
Some of those missiles are like 30 million a pop or something.
But if we sold those instead of giving them away, if we sold them instead of giving them away, that's where that's where the business guy comes out in me.
Well, I want to put that in perspective real quick too, and I want to get back to the selling. But literally, let's just take, like, seriously, I see some of those things at like $30 million. What I'm saying is, I'm not sure on your ballot. On my ballot, we had a lot of initiatives for doing different roads or different intersection or different parks or different, we want to spend $3 million on this. We want to spend $2 million on this. We want to update the plumbing in the city for $2 million. All these type of little things. That's what I mean. Those are the type of things that drive me crazy that we could be just doing, and they boost the economy because because the company has to do it. We contract a company to do it. These people get workers. They pay workers. They pay more taxes. It
drives me crazy. I mean, we had a storm sewer initiative, and we've had an extra sales tax in the city of Lincoln for 3 years, 4 years, something like that, to do additional roads.
Yeah.
But on top of that, we also charge, if you buy a lot, it's got a street on it, we charge an impact fee for that. And we're taxing on taxes on taxes on taxes on taxes on taxes, and it's just crazy.
It's nuts. But again, and it goes to pay for most of that budget is in military.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's just a necessary military.
Well,
but that's what I feel like the federal, that's where we could be the best country, in a better country. I do think we're the best country in the world, but even amazing, like the best country in history, if we were to stop spending so much money countlessly over on the military and would put it in infrastructure in all of our communities.
We need to have a strong enough military to be a deterrent for people attacking us.
Sure.
I don't. Everybody says, in the reality that that all the armed people in the United States aren't a deterrent, and I think that's wrong, because I still think there's a lot of, with all of the guns and ammunition in private sector in the United States, I don't think anybody wants to send their soldiers here.
It's a huge deterrent.
Because,
it's a huge deterrent.
I know guys that are sitting on stockpiles of stuff.
The world knows that guerrilla warfare in America is a different level.
Yeah.
They know it is on a different level.
So for people to attack us on a ground level is difficult. Now they can bomb the shit out of us if we don't have our. I mean, it's Trump said, we need to build our own Iron Dome.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that.
Me too.
I want to stop anything coming in.
Hey, I would love to spend so much billions of dollars on that compared to these, stupid, some of these planes that don't even fly, and there's, like I said, an absorbent amount of missiles, and come on, it's just it gets ridiculous.
Yeah, it's craziness.
But from a business standpoint, like saying as well, sure, we could sell all of our, we could be in this weapons selling business. I just think that as well, with our amazing technology, our amazing innovation, and the way that America could do things, is that we should be, and we are in many ways, but we should be the leader in the world of selling technology, of selling amazing, useful things, selling things that better people's worlds, right? That's what we could be just killer at. But we're kind of getting beat.
Well, we got to start by cleaning up our food sources.
Oh, yeah.
What we're eating. And that's
oh, yeah.
That's what's lowering our our longevity.
Well, the IQ, first off, it just goes down the hill when you have the malnutrition and then you're drinking the fluoride in the water. And no, you're right. We have to change how we just even function as a country from the very beginning of how we're even just eating.
And that's what I'm hoping some of the transformational things that like JFK is going to do in this Trump administration.
That's what they say.
And he's got, you think about
RFKJ,
RFK. Sorry about that.
No. I just want to make sure the people know he ain't coming back.
Yeah. But, when you look at, and even, the deputy chief of staff, Stephen Miller, I mean.
The regenerative farm guy, he does all the, what do you call it? He does all the regenerative farming. Like, right? Am I thinking about the right guy?
He's a really, really, really smart guy. Super smart guy.
He raises, cattle the right way and stuff like that. Or am I thinking about somebody different?
Tom Homan, back to being the border czar. This will be his third stint back in something to do with the border. He's come out of retirement twice for Trump. John Radcliffe, CIA. I mean, CIA is not meant to spy on our own folks. Now, not that they don't have a role in cleaning up some of the folks that have came into our country that they know are bad dudes. But there's Elon Musk and Vivek both in the government efficiency.
Ooh, yeah, the Elon Musk thing right there, that's pretty fun. That's pretty freaking fun. Do you see Rachel Maddow was saying that America should dump
the government.
The government should dump all of the contracts with Elon Musk over his support for Trump. She was saying if Kamala wins, how we're gonna have to cancel SpaceX and all these things.
Yeah, well,
this guy is catching rockets out of the freaking sky with an arm, and you want to go ahead and you want that to hit the transfer portal?
Yeah,
over to
China or
what?
India or
what? Are you stupid?
Yeah, I mean,
literally,
and so if we do that, then are we just going to leave those astronauts that are up there now? We're just going to let them rot? That Boeing couldn't. I mean, that's just stupid. I mean, that's just.
No, it was really, really weird. Oh, no, I'm not talking about, okay, so who were you saying, Stephen Miller?
Yeah.
No, that's not who I was thinking about.
I think it was.
Okay. Oh, man, yeah, he tapped somebody else for this other health thing that was really great. So what's Stephen Miller going to do?
He's just a really smart guy, and he's going to give the chief of staff some outstanding support and data as she does things. Just going to look up his bio. Are you doing that?
No, I was trying to find this guy I was talking about. He was so freaking cool. But again, it's just the health stuff. I'm just excited about the health stuff. I really think that it's about dang time that somebody paid some attention to America's health and the way that we're falling behind in a lot of ways because our kids wake up in the morning and they eat sugar and carbs, and then they go to school and they eat sugar, carbs, and artificial flavors, colors, and all that. Then they drink a cup of sodas, and then for some reason we wonder why they're either crazily hyperactive or they're zoned the heck out.
And so then what do we do?
So you give them a pill to either be more hyperactive or to zone the heck out.
Stupid.
And it costs the taxpayer money. At the end of the day, that's the biggest thing as well, I think, is that we're really, when it comes to Medicaid, a lot of times what we're paying for in taxes is we're paying for kids to be medicated by these psychotropic drugs from the age of 4 and 5. And they, first thing, don't need these drugs because there are different therapies that can do wonders and can actually bring real healing and real remedies to their behaviors. But also, we're just making cartels money. What I mean by that is I'm talking about the Pfizers,
big pharma, man,
and the GlaxoSmithKline. Like, we're making them huge amounts of money on the taxpayer's dime. So it's not even that it's private people saying, "Oh, I really want this. I really think this is going to be good for me. I really think it's going to do better." It's actually a lot of these kids that are even wards of the state.
Yeah.
And then they're getting these drugs pushed on them. And parents who really aren't informed. It's really not informed consent because they don't know the real side effects. They don't know the real things. They don't have the other alternatives to actually make their kids better and how their kids can experience a better life. And then we're just shoveling money upon money. And what I mean by money, I'm talking about a month's supply of some of these drugs could cost something like $1,000, $2,000 that we're billing basically Medicaid for that. Then if you times that by a classroom of, let's say half the kids are medicated and you're talking about 30 kids in a classroom, times that by 15, and you're doing that in all these classrooms.
All these classrooms across the country.
So many, that's so much money.
Yeah.
And then and then we look at, damn, how come Medicaid costs so much? Because we're paying drug companies.
Yeah.
To F up your kids.
It's crazy, man. It just drives me wacko how we waste money. And so I'm really hoping that some of the folks he's bringing in, I mean, this time he's hitting the ground running. And he's not hiring a bunch of ex-lobbyists.
You're right.
He's hiring...
Well, he's hiring Trump loyalists too.
Well, they're loyal to him.
But you got to.
And they believe in his agenda.
You got to.
Yeah, he's got to. And I think, the reason he's pushing for, getting some of these things in, even out of recess, it's time. He knows he's got 4 years.
Yeah.
And
he's not campaigning.
No. That's
what's really cool about this too. He's not campaigning. He's not going to be 2 years in and having to hold rallies.
No. I think he's really serious about hitting the ground running, wanting to get this stuff done, because I think in his heart, he obviously believes that that's the right thing to do for the country, and there's obviously a whole bunch of people that believe that too. And if not, why wouldn't he just hang out in Florida and play golf and
kick it?
I mean, he's got a great life.
You call it the ultimate comeback. This man had the ultimate comeback. I mean, he lost. He didn't ever say he lost, but he wasn't president for 4 years, and he actually held out and came back and did it. That's wild to me.
And he did it for less money, having to be in courtrooms a bunch, having to find off all kinds of lawsuits. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the fact that he spent less money is wild.
Yeah, on the campaign. Now, he probably spent that again in legal fees, but
that's wild though. That really is something. So then the other thing that, a lot of women were saying, well, a lot of people were just saying that you're trading your daughters and your wives for $1 off of eggs and a gallon of milk.
Well, they tried to make it over all of those minority small issues. I shouldn't say minority, not being people, but very small issues that are affecting very small pockets. And obviously that wasn't enough votes.
Well, I guess here's what I'm saying is, because I understand like the abortion thing is huge. But what I'm saying is, was it 30% or 40% of women voted for Trump?
Yeah.
Somewhere in between there.
The largest sector that she really carried that Trump didn't gain any ground in were college-educated women.
Okay.
All the other demographics throughout race, color, religion, all the above, he gained in popularity.
And then a lot of people, I want to talk about this, a lot of people are so hard on black men, saying, oh, black men gave him the election. I saw the numbers. The amount of votes, right, for black men to Trump equated to like 0.04% of his total winnings.
Yeah, but it was a big swing.
It was more from before.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is when people are trying to blame black men for Trump's win or trying to attribute his win to black men, it's just...
I guess that's one thing.
It was a non-factor.
Well, it's one thing about the country is if you focus on a single demographic, you're going to lose.
You're going to lose. Yeah. Because now the country can vote however the frick
so
they
diverse.
Want. Yeah. Oh, it is. It definitely is.
And people...
in a lot of ways.
People are no different than you and I. They're going to vote on their pocketbook, first and foremost, those kitchen table issues, and then they're going to look at some of the other issues. But their pocketbook is the biggest piece. I mean, you got to think about it. Kamala was she was the first president-elect that ran on, I'm going to raise taxes on everybody.
Yeah, she tried to say it was just on the big guys.
Yeah.
She'd always just say the big guys and give a tax break to the other people, the middle class, and because she grew up middle class. And
you gonna go there?
You gonna go there?
I had to. Go there?
Again, had to. Because I didn't grow up middle class. So I guess I just don't relate with that. Like, I didn't grow up middle class, you know? Like, I mowed lawns at like 9 years old to try to help put some food on the table. So I don't know about that middle class shit. I'm not hating on people who grew up middle class. I dig it. My kids grew up nice and middle class, real nice and comfy. But shit, you know, I was mad at my son the other day. Because remember I told you the one time I paid him a bunch of money to come out and do something with me. Mm-hmm. The next time I had him come and just do some what's called. So then the other time, hey babe, are those still going? Recording?
Good.
All right, great. So then the next time I asked him to come and do some more shit, and he gonna say, you know, I don't feel like it. And so I was upset. So I'm talking to my cousin about it, right? And how, you know, my son ain't going hard. He don't want to come out and help and da-da-da-da. He said, Ishma, it's hard to get out the bed when you're sleeping in silk sheets. He said, it was a good analogy. I said, yeah, maybe you're making life
As I told you, I said,
yeah.
Ben, you prepaid him. That was wrong.
No, I didn't prepay him. I paid him just for that day to do the work he did. And he did it, right? But then I was just like, yeah, hey, come out and let's do it this time.
But had you paid him 25% of that?
And then, so
and then 25% again, and 25%. And then at the end, gave him a whole big bonus because he worked his ass off and did all this.
Yeah.
And he would equate hard work to more reward.
This is true. This is true. I was just hooking him up like, shit, I got money. I'm just going to throw him a bag.
Yeah.
And if you just throw people bags, sometimes it don't work. So we'll see. But yeah, he was like, shit, man, life is easy for that dude. How you expect him to work hard? He got an easy ass life. Like, in a lot of ways. In some ways, you know, he's had adversity himself, a whole bunch of it. But, you know, I understood that. You know how they say, like, what do they say? The hard times make
steel on steel, man.
Make like hard man or strong man or something. Like,
yep.
You know, the easy times make weak man, and the weak man make like hard times.
Hey man, I got paid $2 a week to clean my father's laundromat. Mm-hmm. I got paid $2 a week because I had to clean it 3 times a week.
3 times a week.
And once a week I had to clean out all the dryers out of the dryer line. So this is a commercial laundromat. There was 30 washing machines and 15 dryers. Mm. So it wasn't small tasks. That's pretty young, pretty little. And but yeah, man, that's what I had to do.
And doing a lot. The bathrooms too?
Yep. Had to clean the bathrooms, had to mop the floor once a week. Had dust. Yeah, it was
get in there,
wipe down the bulkheads, wash out the washing machines, wipe them out. For $2.
$2.
And then when I got old enough at 14, then I could work at the grocery store, and I got paid like $2.25 an hour to do that. Yeah, and I was killing it. And I saved half of all the money I made every time when I got a check. I went and put at least half of it in the bank.
Bam. See, so raising that or teaching that, I guess having that balance of making people work for it and making them obtain it and save for it and all those things, and that, you know, versus the instant gratification is huge.
You know, later in my working life, you know, I mean, I was getting paid a decent salary, but, you know, my bonuses based on how the company did and how my area of responsibility did, back before was like maybe 2x of my wage, 3x of my wage. Later, it only became like 30%.
Yeah.
But it was still a chunk.
Yeah.
That was the carrot hanging out there that, you know, if you perform for these 12 months and get all these numbers, we're going to reward you. If you don't perform, you're not.
Sure thing.
Probably if you don't perform 2 years in a row, you're probably not going to have a job.
Yeah, 100%. But you have an opportunity.
Yeah.
to make as much money as you can almost.
Yeah.
You get out there and get it.
It wasn't uncapped, but yeah, we had an opportunity to make a ton of cash. That's why we were able to retire early. That's, we provided for our family. But like Megan, she can remember when we didn't have much. My other two kids can't remember so much of that. But we kind of like Lana. Your kids,
Well, I don't think our kids even. Well, and even when I talked to Megan, like she said, like you guys always had a nice place to live, even if it wasn't the best. Yeah. She's like, shit, we had a house, and I always looked at it like, hey, we have a house, and we always got food. Like, so what I'm saying is, for example, right? Did Megan ever have any inkling of any bill not being paid? No. Or being close to like, food isn't on the table.
No, man, because
like you did that shit.
Even when I didn't have a really higher profile job, so then I had 2 jobs or 3 jobs like you.
Hit some on the side.
I mean, you got to go get.
Got to get some on the side.
If you have a financial problem, some of that's your problem because you got to go out and hustle and find something. You got to find that plus one. I'm always talking about you got to have that plus one, plus something else.
You got to have that. Got to go get it now, and then also too, I think a huge thing, when it comes to maturity and parenting as well, I think a huge thing is I don't think that kids should ever worry about bills or about things not being paid, first thing. But I also think that it's really advantageous if kids understand and know what it does cost, though.
Yeah.
So I think that, there's a fine line there, too, because I think some parents or some people don't want to tell their kids anything about money. And then some parents, I think, overshare too much. Like, you never want your kids to think that you're struggling or that that there's scarcity. But at the same time, I think it is important for kids to know, like, well, just to live in this house, we pay a mortgage to the bank because they loaned us all this money, and it's cost us $2,000 per month just to be here. And then on top of that, to run these lights that you guys just keep on all damn day, it costs this much money.
Yep.
Or, which I think helps, hopefully, to put things in perspective.
Well, it's a good reality check for them to know, because as they get older and then want to move out, they're not so shy. It was like all the kids worked in high school.
Sure.
And I remember all of them the same thing. Like when they got that first check, they're like, what's all this stuff? I mean, what's this FICA and what's this federal income tax? And say, why am I paying all that? I'm a kid, Well, that's you're starting to adult a little bit.
Them bombs don't pay for themselves.
Well, and the roads don't pay for themselves, and the police department doesn't pay for itself, and the fire department doesn't pay for itself, and there's so many things in our tax system that are very necessary for the safety of everybody. Sure. And then there's some things that are just stupid.
And then there's like half of it that's just like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Like, what the heck just happened? Maybe 60%.
Yeah.
Maybe 70%. But
why are we doing this?
But maybe that's what Musk is supposed to do, right?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. If he could, I don't think he can Twitterize the federal government. I mean, people have used that analogy. He can get rid of 80%. That would be a great thing if he could, but I don't think that's possible just because of
how big
it is, how big
we are,
how big our military is, and yeah, we need to close some bases and pull in some of our world stuff because the world's changing.
Well, but also we don't have to be the world police. Like, we can be the world help. We can go, we can give some good shit, we can do our thing, but the world police is just played out.
Well, it's no different than Ukraine. I mean, I'll use Ukraine as a prime example. When Putin went to Crimea, if Barack Obama would have said, okay, Putin, you've got like a week or I'm going to start blowing shit up. Mm-hmm. And instead he sent the Ukrainians blankets. And then they occupy Crimea. And that all goes back to that initial thing of Putin, and before him, their leaders saying, okay, do not put NATO on our doorstep. And I get that.
No, that's the biggest thing, I think. And once you did that, you have no stick to really walk on if you don't just want to do war.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they can. I guess what I'm saying, why America wanted to continue to push that line. Like, pushing that line is just
Poking the bear.
Why? Like, why? Other than you want to sell some weapons, other than you want to keep this war machine going.
Yeah.
And you have to keep keep the people in war so we can be in this entrenched fear, which helps us continue to be unhealthy when we're always thinking fear.
Does nothing for the common man.
I was talking to my grandpa today before you came. So I was talking to Papa John, and I was telling him, he said grandma's doing much better now that like the election's like a week over. Because because the build up to this election and then the initial after the election, it was just, ew, if Trump wins. And then he won. Now it's like, oh, now that he won.
The sky's going to fall.
It's just, yeah, it's coming, but it didn't come yet, but it's coming. It was supposed to come yesterday, but it's coming today. Now, that literally, it's just fear locking you in fear that is so unhealthy. And it's so disingenuous. It's just, it's just messed up. I say, hey, turn off the TV, y'all.
What was there was a law that got pushed through by Barack Obama that media didn't have to.
No, here's what it was. The media could make some shit up if it was in national interest. If it was for the national interest or the national security of our nation, the media could point blank, no bullshit, just make some shit up or run propaganda. The government could give them propaganda to run, and they have to run with it.
So
that's a real thing.
How much of that's happened?
It's a real thing. It's been happening since before he signed the shit. That just was like, okay, now we cover our ass.
Now you can do it legally.
Now CYA, that's what the guy just told me. That's a military term. Cover your ass. CYA.
Charlie Foxtrot's a military term too. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy that our government would say it's okay to lie to the citizens, and I think that's kind of, we took politics and put it on steroids because of that. Yeah. And that's not healthy.
And what do you mean? It's okay to lie to the citizens. For example, it's okay then to have news stations literally go to Tripoli and get a dozen actors and then multiply them on the screen using easy little stupid, what they have, the filters and the little HUDs, the HUDs, and literally make it look like it's a protest when it's not a protest, so you can illegally go into another sovereign country and assassinate their president, Muammar Gaddafi, when Libya was the most prosperous country in Africa, gifting all other African countries money at 0% interest. FBI stats, you go look before 2011, the FBI stats of rape, of crime, of robbery, of violent crime, of murder, literally zero. And you go, but that's what you mean. So
why would we care?
Not only why would we care, but then of all places, why would we go there when we can go to like Saudi Arabia that doesn't let women drive or something? Well, or we can go to, I'm just saying, right? We know why there, because anywhere that's really has to, I'm gonna keep it real quick. I think anywhere that has real stability and morals, what I mean by that is they really value family, they value men and women in a union of marriage, and they value their nationalism of their country and creating their gold and their oil and their things for the benefit of their people. And that is the opposite of what elitist culture wants for America.
I mean, it's like we don't want anyone to do too well. I mean, yeah. Look at Venezuela. Venezuela was killing it until we stick our nose in it.
For the world. We want the world to be as dysfunctional as us. And
if not, we're going to create the dysfunction.
Exactly. Now, I wonder if Trump's going to be different on that end, was he different in foreign policy when it came to his first go around? He had the same punks in that were from before. He says he learned from that.
And that's why I think we're seeing all these cabinet changes like immediate.
Yeah, like Fox News
years.
Guys.
It took him 2 years
Before
to get people in place. Well, by the time he gets people in place, he's just doing nothing but campaigning for his next election, which is why we need
6 years,
one term, 6 years.
I like
done.
that. I like your idea. 6 terms, or excuse me, 6 years, 1 term. It's
Done.
over. I love that.
Yeah, one and done.
Makes sense.
You got your time to do it. You're actually going to should be productive for 6 years of doing it. I mean, to me, it's everything. Trump talked about term limits for the House and Senate, and I hope he carries through with that.
Sure,
because that should not be a career.
It shouldn't. Here's another thing. Okay, we're talking about campaigning. So, let's say the first year on your job, your full-time job, how much PTO do you get?
Week.
Okay, a week.
Maybe 2.
Okay, let's say real liberal, 2 weeks. Okay, then let's say sick leave. You probably get a little bit and all this, all that. Okay, so if you're a full-time employee for the government and your job, you're supposed to be on the clock for basically 24 hours. It's like, what the hell you signed up for? Whatever, right? So my thing is, you shouldn't be able to spend time campaigning. Like, that's not part of the job. Campaigning isn't part of the job.
Not only spending time campaigning, spending tax dollars.
You're right.
Campaigning.
Because the Secret Service got to go with you, and you got to run. You got to go this.
And they're flying an Air Force One or Air Force Two.
And you should be running the freaking country, doing real work, but instead you're campaigning.
And I think that would save us a tremendous amount of money.
The vice president shouldn't be able to campaign every day, all freaking day, if you're getting paid to be the vice president.
Nope.
That's weird. Like, I couldn't go anywhere and just openly be campaigning for another job all day, every freaking day, and not doing my current job.
Yeah, you'd get fired.
That's wild.
Yeah, you think about it.
That's wild. That's really wild. The same thing for a president. Just like I said, if Trump was campaigning for 2 years, it's like, shit, you really, how much were you even able to really do?
Yeah, I mean, it's Biden.
No, I know that the boy got like a serious schedule. Like, yeah, I've seen his schedule, and he's a dog. Like, he really is a dog, how he works his schedule. That being said, though, so he's a little different too. He's just different because he just was business. Like, nothing phases him like that. Like, people come in there surprised. He's always been around that shit.
Never smoked, never drank.
He sounded like Deion Sanders.
His biggest vice is McDonald's
and women.
and
McDonald's and women. See, like I say, he sounded like Deion Sanders. Like,
probably true story.
Never drank, never. I think Deion he's way more into the religion thing, but Trump is way more to the business thing.
Yeah,
he's making that real money. But I think it's weird too how like, we see the protests. There's been little light protests and things like that, right? I wonder what's gonna happen January 6th and then January 20th when he really takes over. Like, when those votes are really happen on January 20th, when it's all really, really done, I wonder if there's gonna be some real, like, are they gonna march in the White House? Oh, okay. You remember there was the women's march the first time he got in. The women all marched against him in 2016. It was a lot of women
with
too.
The pink hats, and that was when
it was a lot of women.
Madonna wanted to blow up the White House.
I don't remember that one.
Oh,
she said she wanted to blow up the White House.
Yeah.
Damn. If I say I want to blow up the White House, they're gonna be mad at me. But they let Madonna get away with it.
No, they're gonna be to your door.
They'll be at my door. I don't want to blow up the White House.
Me neither.
I like the White House. Some of my ancestors built the White House. I want to. It's cool. I heard there's a basketball court there now too. Am I making that up? I might be making that up. That Obama put a basketball court.
No, I just put a hoop up in the tennis court.
Oh, he did a little something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, on the tennis.
I was like, is that like a?
And I think there was one there before.
Is that like a trope that
it wasn't a cool one? He just improved it.
Okay, he hooked it up. Reagan had one before, and he had to make it better.
Well, I think there was one there for a long time. Any of those guys that had kids,
probably wanted
going
to
back
hoop a little bit.
JFK,
Who else had kids in the White House?
Bush's had girls there. Clinton had a girl there.
Clinton had a girl there. Have there been any boys since Barron? Who's a boy in the White House except for Barron?
Kennedy. That's the only one I can think of.
Wow.
I think Nixon did. I don't know about Ford.
That's wild.
Yeah. Well, but
wow.
But most people, well, you think about it, people are having children much later in life, but you also think about it that, what was the stat? Yeah, Bill Clinton had been out of office. What was that? So something about how long Bill Clinton had been out of office versus somebody that was running. Maybe it was one of the younger people that were running. Maybe he'd been out of office longer than they'd been alive or something. It was like a real crazy thing I read.
Hey, something about Bill Clinton, man.
Well, so what's Brock going to do now? He was all in on Kamala, and he's went to radio silence.
I mean, what can you do? I mean, it's like when you like root for the Cowboys.
Jerry Jones is going to change that.
Like, what do you?
He's heard. You've been hearing that?
What?
Deion to the Cowboys. They're going to throw the rest of the season.
Can't do it.
Take Shakur as number one, and Deion's going to go there.
That'd be cool, but thing is
he played for Jerry.
I dig it, but Deion's. Hey, look, I don't know the man personally, but he told me. No, he told the TV. He says over and over again that he will not coach pros.
Yeah.
But
if he has a chance to coach his son, I think that would be a different opportunity.
It would. I wonder if he's ready to let it go. I wonder.
I mean, I don't know, man.
That would make history, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Has there ever been an NFL coach son?
I don't know, man.
Quarterback.
Somebody tell us if there has been. I don't know.
I bet what's his name's gonna do it soon. Who's the Steelers coach? I like him too. He's real hard nosed. The Steelers head coach.
Yeah.
But his son is getting close. His son's getting close. His son, I forget who his son plays for, but his son's playing good ball right now.
Yeah, I don't know of any of them because normally some of that athleticism skips a generation.
Sure, it does. I'm trying to think. There's been a lot of brothers. I don't know. So I'm really. I don't think that he goes. I really don't think that he goes though. But then again, he just talks about how good of a time he's having in Boulder. He's having in.
Well, two of his kids are there. He's coaching the Heisman.
True.
Should be the Heisman blowaway.
Basically, all of his kids are there.
Yeah.
Because he says that Hunter's kid. Yeah, everybody's. Oh, he's having a great time.
Yeah.
He's having a great time. Dang, yeah. If Hunter, he just has to have 3 more solid games. If he goes, look, if they make the Big 12 championship, it'd be hard, and he plays, it'd be hard not to give him the Heisman. He just needs another interception, Pops. Just one more interception. Get me a pick 6.
But he's the only guy that's played Ironman college football in a long time.
A long time.
I mean, the amount of snaps. I'm probably more worried about if he makes the NFL, and I think he will, is can he hold up physically?
They say he's just different.
Yeah, they say he's a freak.
He's just different.
And
some people are.
Watch him play,
watch him. He is. He just does it. Hey, did you hear when Deion was talking about how he did on the off week? Travis Hunter was doing all the rounds on TV. So he says he's up in my house. They're at the ranch, I think, in Texas. He's like, they're out there. He's like, it's 1 a.m. Or he says about 12 a.m. They're finishing up their taboo game, playing taboo with the couples. And then he's like, I'm trying to go to bed. And he's out there 1 a.m. revving up the 4-wheeler. Ring. He's like, I'm thinking, oh, Lord Jesus. If he hurts himself in this 4-wheeler, people are never going to let me, hold it down. But he's like, shit, he's just a kid out here doing his thing. He's like, but, it sounded louder than what he was really going. He's like, anyways, he must leave my house maybe at 2 a.m. I don't know, but at 1 a.m. he's revving up the thing. And, they have a private, I think, airport, at his compound or whatnot. So they get real close to it. So he's like, he must have just slept on the plane, because then he's like, I wake up, he's crossed the country on the Fox kickoff, doing the thing. He's like, then in the afternoon, he's somewhere else across the country doing another one. He's like, man, but he's just saying, like, that's the type of guy that Travis is.
And he's young.
He's out there and gets it.
He doesn't need as much sleep as me.
or me. And then
you don't need a lot of sleep, man.
I'm learning that I do, because I'm hurting myself.
As you get older, it gets harder.
It really does. It really does. It was funny. I was seeing a couple things too where he's taking Deion's shoes. Like people send Deion Sanders shoes all the time, right? Like LeBron sends him shoes. Everybody sends him shoes. And so he goes and takes his shoes, And Dion just always joking like, this guy's he's worth millions of dollars, but always comes and takes my shoes. He's like, he's so frugal. Like, he don't buy nothing. He always just tries to come. He's wearing the CU gear. He's wearing all the sweats. He's like, the kid won't buy anything. It just had me. But that's cool.
He probably understands he needs to make bank because he doesn't have it's not like he's got a 40-year career in this.
Yeah, 100%. And he literally is, he's coming from a background too where it isn't like these nice things are new to him.
Yeah.
You know? It's so, which is good.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the Shaq story, and he got his first big check, whatever it was, $1 million, whatever, and then he went and bought himself a Mercedes and his mother Mercedes, and then blows it all, and then finds out how much taxes he owed. He's like, whoops. I got to figure this out.
I'm in debt.
I got to figure this shit out in a hurry.
Quick. No, and people do, and it's so great when these young ones especially are able to understand, what it really is about. That's
probably the best thing about NIL. These kids that go to the next level, I don't care if it's NBA, NFL, I don't care if it's hockey, whatever pro, if they make it, if they're that 1%er or half a percent or whatever it is, to make it, they're going to have a much better understanding of real world finance.
Yes, right away.
Than any other generation.
Yeah, no, 100% right away. Right away. And I also love the fact I love that these athletes who are really good too, but a lot of them, they aren't struggling anymore. I think that's a cool thing where like the kid isn't hungry or isn't struggling or.
You got them both sides. You got them both sides, man.
It's like now this guy is like, actually, just doesn't have to worry about other things. He can just worry about football, which is another thing.
And hopefully he's academic. Well, they got to worry about their academics too.
It matters where you're at.
Dion calls them out hard.
Well, I know, but that's prime. But see, not everybody does or cares, and it just matters where you're at. You can still go some places.
Oh, I'm sure.
And bullshit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You can't go to Notre Dame and bullshit.
What was that? North Carolina basketball. Invented classes.
Look, I told you I was in a course that they literally invented for athletes at the University of Nebraska. It was wild. I was the only non-athlete in the room. I could have been the athlete. Anyways, I was the only non-athlete in the room, in the class. The final, I remember I told you the final was you had to give an oral paragraph on any person that you wanted to. You just pick a person, you just have to talk about them for a paragraph. Like you just have to say. So you have to write it down, you have to hand it in. You just say it. Just literally say it.
You never wrote anything down, did you?
I can't even remember what I did. Like I
bet it was from the hip.
Bullshit.
Yes, I bet it was from the hip.
Such a bullshit. And I'm thinking to myself, but here's the other thing too that I was thinking of, because it was like a class that was supposed to be helping to support the athletes a little bit. And I remember one of the guys, he was like from Texas. He's a football player. He's like, look, man, like we coming from our school where we didn't have to go to class and worry about these grades. We just had to play ball and be good at playing ball. He's like, now I come up here, they tell me I can play ball. I get here, now they talking about school and stuff. He's like, I came here to go play ball, not to go to school. And it's like, shit. But that's who we're recruited though too. Like we went and recruited that kid that we knew darn well wasn't going to school.
But we led the nation for a long time in academic All-Americans in sports. We're in second place now by Stanford.
We evened it out in some way with other kids.
T.O. did a really good job.
We evened it out with other kids. We did. And this again, when I was going there, was 2004.
But amazes me even.
Who was coaching then? AD. So there's differences, right? That was 2004 when I was going to school.
But I look at it, like,
was that Bill Callahan?
He's probably the football coach.
Yeah.
But I look at it as though, way different mentality.
Peterson was 80 maybe or something?
Yeah. So I look at it as though the academic stuff that Tom helped put in place and the things that he did to try to really help student athletes back then, that'd be a way different world. I think it'd drive Tom crazy now. But he was way ahead of it. I mean, it's just like when he said, no, we're honoring your scholarship. You get hurt, we're honoring your scholarship all the way through. And when you get done, you go play pro ball and you want to come back and get the rest of your education.
Come on, we got you.
We got you, man.
Yeah. Not every place does that.
No.
Not every place does that.
Not everybody can afford to do it.
Sure, there's that too.
Small state.
There's that too.
And athletics pays for its own way.
Yeah, there's that too.
Because of what Bob Devaney did way back when, and it's a great culture has helped.
No, most definitely. You see how Dion came and he said, anybody of y'all like ain't doing school right, if you're gonna flunk a class, he's like, you will be doing nothing football. So you want to guarantee you're doing nothing football. That. Go ahead and fuck the class. He said, what he said, let your spirit sizzle on that. And walked out.
Yeah, that was kind of his closing after a team meeting. I saw that. I don't know if I saw it on
said,
YouTube.
Let your spirit sizzle on that. Why does he say stuff like it was so funny? But he really hit him. But that's another thing of a lot of those kids that transfer and things out of his program. He said, look, these kids don't want to go to school. Well, he said, that's fine.
And he's
not with me.
And Dion's not really interested in going out and recruiting high school kids. He said, now I can get transfer portal kids that can play instantly. That's what we need. But
he said this too, and did you see his last thing, which I really made sense? And he wasn't trying to give up his strategy too much because I think like he realizes that he's kind of cracking the code here. But he was saying that, he said, why would we go and try to bring in 20 freshmen, right? He says just like in the NFL, you're talking about the number 1 draft class, and they come out and they suck next year. He's like, we don't care about a recruiting class or draft class. He says, we recruit kids. We're going to recruit a kid out of high school. We want them to play as a freshman. He said, we can bring in 20 kids that are supposed to be all hot and all this, and then you redshirt them. He said, then in the offseason, how many are going to jump ship and go out the portal no matter what? He says at least 50%. That's just the number.
He said they did the stats.
That's just the number. He's like, and I know he was saying that he's giving it up a little bit, but he's like, shit, if 50% go, he said, now you're talking about 10 guys. Like, then why didn't I just recruit 10 guys that I think that I can maybe even play right now?
That can play right away.
He's like, why not just do that? Recruit the 10 guys that can play it right away or that can go, and then they'll be with me for all this extra time. Why am I recruiting 20 guys, spending my time on that when they're going to leave anyway?
Yeah, and so they're living out of the transfer portal, and
they're bringing guys that are experienced
until the NCAA gets that solved, and it's not because it's basically free agency.
Which again, I just don't see a problem of being able to, just like everywhere in America.
So why can't they do that in the NBA?
What do you mean?
No salary caps, and you're a free agent. There's no contract. There's no salary caps in the NCAA right now.
Sure.
The kid, you can pay that kid anything you want to, and the next year somebody else can pay more money and he can go there. You can't do that in the NBA
because you're locked into your contract.
Because you're locked into a contract.
Now, when it comes to the NCAA, though, like Colorado isn't actually paying the kid. The NIL deal is from a private source or whatever's coming into the donation. So that's the difference. That's the difference is Colorado isn't actually paying that kid, contracting that kid for 4 years and paying him for 4 years.
The university isn't.
Yes, the university isn't.
So
and these NIL deals are 1 year joints. They're like, this year you get this, next year you get this. It's all contingent if you're here, and it is sticky. I guess I just don't have agency. I just don't have a problem with free agency now, here's the thing though.
There's no collective bargaining.
There you go. Well, because they're still not supposed to be employees, right? So can a school or the NIL deal or something put you in the contract for 2 or 3 years or 4 years?
I don't know. I
mean,
but
that would be the way though, right?
But you talk about it. So NIL, you can lots of universities, you can donate NIL via the university and get your points, get your donor points.
Mm-hmm. Because it's something like
1867
is attached to it or something.
And it's not a tax write-off, okay? Because you're getting your points for it, and that's getting your donor points. Or you can go over here and do it on the non-for-profit side, and your name never goes out there and you don't get anything for it, but you get the tax deduction. So who's that? It's still money. Mm-hmm. There's no contract involved with the university of them staying there. It's a one-off deal.
I mean, it's sticky.
So why don't they do that? Why don't they do that for the pro sports?
Well, again, because the pro sports, these are contract employees of the team. I mean, they're real employees.
So what happens if the NCAA says we're done with college football?
Mm-hmm. Why would they do that when they're making hand over fist money? Yeah, it would just never happen just because they make so much money.
Some lawsuits are going to happen. There's going to be
There's going to be some stuff.
There's going to be some union organizations.
There's going to be some stuff, but here's the thing. Again, wherever the money works, they're going to make it work. Because I'm still watching this shit. Like, I've never watched it more.
I know.
I've never watched it more. And I went to NFL for a while.
But so you look at it. So you're watching it more.
Yeah.
So the conferences are making buku more money.
They are.
But they can't funnel that directly.
But the kids still aren't making the money.
They don't have the revenue share.
The kids still aren't making. Yeah.
So when they go to revenue sharing,
okay,
does the kid then have to commit there? Or is it still constant free agency?
Yes. At some level, if you're going to get a money, I think it's going to have to be year by year, or some people are going to try to lock them up for 3 or 4 years. Once you're paying the kids directly, that's where I think it turns into it.
Because when you put them under contract for 3 or 4 years, now they're an employee.
Yeah, 100%. All that.
And the problem is, without collective bargaining, they fall underneath work comp.
All of that. If they get into
it's going to be an interesting deal, man.
No, 100%. All of that is going to happen. Now, that's why it hasn't happened yet, because it's just so sticky. But you see, just like out there at UNLV, the quarterback was like, hold up. Y'all said you'd give me $1 million. I don't have my money. I'm not playing.
And he bounced to another team already. He's starting at USC. We're going to see him at USC, I think, this week.
No. That can't happen mid-season, I didn't think, Pops. Hold on. And USC can't start him. He can't even throw. Am I that under a rock right now?
Let me just look here.
I didn't think that they could do that, Pops. I know they're starting a new QB over there, but I didn't think it could be the UNLV
Maybe
kid.
It's not. I could have missed. I mean, I'm a little sleepy.
But if they did that, that would be so wild. I thought you had to wait the next season at least. Plus, I just didn't think he was good enough to go over to USC. He was the Holy Cross kid. You know, he runs the ball a lot. The backup I thought was even better than him. The backup played great for UNLV.
He transferred to ASU.
To Arizona State. So he'll play next year at Arizona State, but I don't think he'll even play.
He was released from a scholarship grade 23. He transferred to Arizona State where he played last year. That doesn't make any sense.
No, he played Holy Cross.
Yeah. I heard about it, man. I think I heard it like 4:30 in the morning,
yeah.
5 o'clock in the morning when I was driving to Omaha.
Look, if I'd have heard that when I was driving too, I'd have thought the same thing, because that's like literally I thought, oh, here, bring out the DraftKings or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I don't have it on there. I got to pull it up on my phone.
Oh, my goodness.
Maybe I do now.
You see,
I got a new iPad.
Navy and Army came through in Florida. What was I thinking? That Florida pick was so stupid.
I didn't love that pick, but I was in Florida, and so
it just felt right. It felt right because you know, but I don't know what I was thinking. I knew Florida's no good because the Canes dusted them up the first week, and I'm not a Canes believer. And but I was just like, man, that's a lot of points. It was just a lot of points. And did you see? I don't know if you're watching, but the 2 picks before the half, like what? It was just what? Okay, I'll tell you what I like right away. I like BYU. I think that's an easy pick again. I think BYU wins. I think they're -3 right now against Kansas. I like that pick. Here's why I like that pick. Because I do like Kansas. Kansas's quarterback I really liked as well. But they feel like K-State. And they have the same type of quarterback that K-State did. And BYU beats that. BYU beats that type of team. Like, that type of team doesn't beat BYU, in my opinion. So that's my early one. This Tulane Navy.
I like Navy at +7.
I like them to win the money line.
Yeah. That's probably both way we got
plus 200, yeah.
Yeah.
I love Navy. I love Navy on Tulane. Now, Tulane's been playing okay football, though. I've watched them a couple times because Megan's bet on them a couple times.
But I think they're going to control the ball.
Oh, yeah, they are. And Navy got it together last week. You see, They got it back together. They're back. What do you think about Northwestern Ohio State?
I think Ohio State's going to win, but I don't think they're going to win by 28.5.
28.5 is a lot of points.
But
did we play Northwestern?
No.
Not yet.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But Ohio State, I mean, I just don't know. Ohio State can get on a roll and they can blow them out.
Yeah, they can. It's in Northwestern. It's in Chicago.
Yeah, what's small stadium, but
Chicago. Now, what's this? Auburn 24?
yeah, I think that's a lock.
That's a lock. Auburn 24 is a lock. What's the money line on that? 1,300 for UNL. Is that University of Louisiana Monroe?
Yep.
Oh, goodness. Coastal Carolina's been playing good football. Marshall, they're plus 8.5? 9.5? Jeez. Oh, my goodness gracious.
Marshall just controls the clock so well.
They're good. There's a lot of little games this week.
I love Illinois at -3. Home, Michigan State.
Really?
I do.
These Big Ten games are trash.
Well,
they're just so hard to pick. They're just beating each other up.
They are, but I just think physically Illinois is bigger and better than Michigan State. And I know they're nicked up.
Put it on Illinois.
I like Illinois a lot.
Put it on Illinois, y'all.
There was another game down here I really liked. LSU, Florida.
Why is it only 4.5? Because they're in the swamp?
Yep.
And
LSU just got waxed. Did you watch that game, Bama?
Yeah.
They got waxed.
Bama's good.
Speed. It was speed on speed.
Bama's good.
But Bama was just better up front. I really like that.
I like that too. I really do. Notre Dame. What's the Notre Dame? It was Notre Dame, Virginia. 22.5. Notre Dame, Virginia. Is that the trap game for Notre Dame finally?
No. They're going to win it.
Virginia sucks.
I don't know if they'll cover, but they're going to
Notre Dame's been on a roll. They've been clicking on all cylinders. I don't know what to say.
I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Penn State, Purdue. 29.5. That's a lot.
Purdue sucks, though, right?
They are. They do. And quite frankly, Penn State's got to make a statement game.
So this Penn State and Ohio State game was close, right?
Yep.
Ohio State beat Penn State, or beat Purdue 54 or some shit to nothing.
Yeah. They'll probably cover.
I mean, you got to believe they got 29.
You got to believe Penn State is going to – they need some style points.
Are they throwing the ball at all?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have always got a great tight end passing game over the middle. And the guys aired it out some.
Louisville, big over Stanford. They want 20.5. I don't know. I just not impressed by Louisville.
Well, and it's in Stanford.
It's just a weird game.
So, California's a long ways to go.
It is. It's a weird game. I don't know.
It is.
I like to stay away from that.
Oregon State Air Force at Air Force.
I'm just not interested. It's just those are just toss-ups where I don't feel good about anything.
How is
you never know what Nebraska's going to do?
USC, but new offensive coordinator.
I know. Doesn't that make you nervous?
Yeah.
Well, you couldn't do any worse. You think it should be more?
Oh yeah.
Really?
We're going to their house.
You think
with a new OC and a quarterback question?
USC,
don't even know if Raiola's going to play yet.
Really?
No.
USC just has sucked though.
Yeah, but Lincoln Riley's a pretty good coach.
And they got a new quarterback.
Yeah.
They got a new quarterback from UNLV. How good could the kid be? I mean, I'm not hating. I'm just saying. It's like not like this kid's coming from Alabama.
Lincoln Riley coaches up quarterbacks pretty well.
Sure. He must like him for a reason.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, that's just
a gut.
Yeah.
Kind of a gut. Like, what's the money line on that? Only 252. Yeah. Gross.
Yeah, it's not a banger.
It's hard to even think about Nebraska going to, but you know what? It's not to me. If Dylan plays, it's not hard for me to see Nebraska going and winning, actually.
No,
it really isn't.
It's not, but there's so many unknowns. I can't believe that.
Even if Dylan doesn't play, shit. I mean, USC just isn't that good.
We just need a hammer. I mean,
yeah.
We have to go there and pound the rock.
Yeah, 100%. And then you just catch a couple play actions.
And that's what I expect to happen. I expect us to go there and pound the rock.
I don't trust Kansas State, Arizona State.
Oh.
Just don't trust it. I don't know. 14? Okay, Oregon and Wisconsin. Oregon -14.
I love Oregon.
Really? Think they're just going to fling it all around?
I think they're going to fling it all around. Their speed is going to kill Wisconsin.
I should have been taking some notes. Let me take some notes real quick.
What you got, man? It's recorded.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go through it. I like just post these. Oregon Because I was trying to make the parlay. Okay, yeah, I'm going to make the parlay off what we picked. I'm going to have to go back. Let the editors do that. Okay, Tennessee, Georgia. I stay away from these two always.
Yeah,
never know what's going to happen.
That's a no-go. You don't know what'll happen. It's at Georgia.
Well, and Georgia's mad.
Georgia's
they got to
mad.
get together. But they looked so gross last week.
And Tennessee needs some style points. They need some big wins.
They did. I mean, but Georgia looked gross last week.
Yeah.
I mean, they looked just ugly.
But 10 points in Tennessee. I know it's on the road.
That's what I'm saying. I like Tennessee.
Yeah.
Because Georgia just looked so ugly.
Yeah, they did. They did not look.
What's Texas A&M supposed to do?
I don't know.
They're up a couple more games, or the other way.
Other way.
There it is. Ooh.
39.
New Mexico State, though. It's New Mexico State.
Not very good, but
39. I don't know. I haven't watched enough Texas A&M.
I haven't either. And I'm just not a huge Aggies fan. I know that's kind of biased.
Look. There it is, 2.5, the BYU game. Kansas. In BYU.
Yeah.
They just put no respect on BYU's name, bro. I'm going BYU. Yeah. I like that a lot. I like that too. I like that a lot.
And I don't know. BYU's got a quarterback issue. We probably need to research that before we throw any cash at it.
Is that the issue?
Injury. See if they got some big injury things.
It's just they just haven't been respecting them all year. I don't know what it is. We'll see.
Some late games in here. I'm telling you right now, I love Alabama over Oklahoma. Oklahoma does not have a very good defense.
Really?
And I think Bama was going to roll them up. This is the next week. This is actually the 23rd. I went.
Oh! You went too far for it.
But when I go down here to these games, Thanksgiving-ish, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, somewhere in there, in Colorado, Kansas. I mean, we've got some early lines here.
I know.
And that early line, Alabama, I just love that.
This early line is too good to be true.
Yep.
There's no way Kansas beats them, I don't think.
And this early line's to stay away from. I mean, I just don't know. If Army's quarterback's healthy, maybe.
He's healthy. Well, he played last week.
I know.
They didn't look good, though.
I don't think he's healthy.
Hey, did you watch the end of that game?
Uh-uh.
I was watching that game. It was so fun. They had to cover. They had to freaking get two red zone stops at the end of the game, and they did. They got 2 red zone stops. It was so funny. It was so funny. Oh man, it was great. But yeah, Notre Dame's gonna probably do what they're supposed to do. But I like the money line whenever it opens it up, because
it'll just be interesting.
Just because
those are some futuristics.
The futuristics. Now, really quick. Injury report 2 days ago. So, right tackle suffered an injury against Utah. Senior tackle remains atop the depth chart at right tackle because he hasn't been ruled out for the season. So Taka said on Monday, we'll see if he can be able to go this week. If not, it's going to be the next guy out.
So I like BYU then. It's not a skilled player. I mean, I know tackles and linemen are important. I do not want to diss linemen because they are everything.
Oh my gosh. But here's what's scary about it, okay? The next guy would appear to be Colorado transfer, Isaiah Jetta. He sucks, then get him out if he's playing offensive line. If that's your next guy up a tackle, that's not so good. That's not so good at all because those guys sucked. But no, Jake is good. So I don't know.
I like BYU then.
Yeah. I like him. That's a good one. And, I mean, they got everything to play for right now. If they went out, they're Big 12 bound for sure.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. Colorado has 10.5, I think, against Utah. They get Utah this week, don't they?
That is. We saw it.
Pretty sure. But 10.5 is always tough for me. You know what I like doing? I like waiting to the first quarter because a lot of times Colorado hops down right away, and then you catch them at a better line live. There it is, Utah, yeah.
Oops. Bounced the wrong one.
11.5. Gosh, it started at 10. Now I already moved to 11.5. My gosh. Utah looked really good. Yeah, but Utah's on the third string quarterback. That's the big thing.
Yep.
Can you believe Colorado's #1 in sacks in the Big 12?
Really?
Isn't that crazy?
That is pretty crazy.
I couldn't believe it. I want to kind of check it.
So yeah, I think we got some good picks out there. We'll kind of see how it goes. We're due to bust out.
I'm telling you, man, we got to get a good.
And I'm going to be home watching a lot of football with.
Okay, what you got to do?
Caretaking.
Okay, we're gonna have to throw some real parlays out there. Megan and I are gonna go tomorrow night probably, because Friday.
I'll try
we'll
to
be out of here.
Yeah, I'll try to.
So tell me what you like early.
I'll try to get you some stuff text tomorrow morning.
I'm trying to think.
I'm sitting in the hospital.
In Florida, if DraftKings might work though too. So it just matters.
Yeah, I don't know.
But just let me know. Yeah.
I'll try to get you a text out tomorrow.
Some good stuff.
Better put a reminder in my phone, or I'll space it off because I'm going to be at the hospital early.
Yeah. So look, let's end this thing like this. Middle of the street. We appreciate y'all being with us. Don't freak out about the election. It's gonna be okay. I promise.
Yeah, it's great, but we love talking to you guys. I guess to me it's like a double bonus because I also get to spend some time with Ishmael, which is always super cool.
Me too.
Does kind of freak my daughter out sometimes, but she's getting way better about it.
Should be all right.
But thank you all for listening. Hope you're having fun. Hope you're having as much fun as we are. Yeah. And drop some comments in on us. Tell us what you're thinking about stuff. Tell us a topic you want us to touch on. We'll do some research and do what we can. So with that, you guys have a blessed week. And who loves you, man?
Peace, peace.
Peace. Take care.
Middle of the